They're hungry. We have to be hungrier. And there is no celebrating after game 4. We have another game that we have to win. And to close that game is always the hardest game ever. So I'm looking forward to seeing our approach. We had it in game 6 against Phoenix. We had it in game 5.
You guys are hot, about 10 seconds.
Game 4 against the Lakers. And my hope is that tomorrow night, in front of just an unbelievable crowd, incredible environment, that our players understand the opportunity in front of them and take full advantage of it.
That's the coach, Michael Malone from the Denver Nuggets, as they'll go at it tonight. Joining us now, the author. I mean, what do you think is a bigger deal? 3-time NBA champion or author?
Well, the author,
doctor, author,
very educated, and 3-time NBA
sounds
champion.
tall.
Yeah,
Sounds tall.
he sounds very official.
Scott Williams joins us on the right toe to guest sign. What's up, Scotty? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, how you doing? You guys make it sound like I'm sitting with like a smoking jacket, a pipe, and a beer, with a brandy or something, making me out to be somebody that's more highly educated than I actually am there with that author title. But I appreciate it.
Yeah, you couldn't
today. I love it.
You couldn't get into Duke, huh?
Oh, what a shot!
Low blow.
Hey, I mean, I can see you being an author and holding up court at Gainey Ranch. Rumor has it that you kind of go around there sometimes, but I have yet to see you there, so I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, good times down here in the valley. Although the temperatures are getting a little hot for the golf course. I slipped up to Sedona this week, and I hope you guys had a good weekend too. And I hope to get down and watch the D-backs play a little bit as they're home for an extended period of time here.
Absolutely.
And playing some good baseball. What, they got a 2.5-game lead over the Dodgers?
3.5.
3.5. Yeah, 3.5. So, yeah.
3.5.
Hey,
I thought.
Yeah, everybody's got to pinch themselves, but it's good stuff. We're loving it. All right, so let's get to this NBA Game 5 finals. First, you've been in situations like this. I mean, you played for a long time. What can Miami do to get back into this tonight? What do they really need to do? Does it all start with the Butler?
Yeah, I got a chance to listen to that soundbite that you played from Coach Michael Malone there. The closeout games are the toughest. There's a lot of distractions. I remember coming back from Portland 31 years ago when I was with the Bulls and we were trying to close out the Trailblazers at home and found ourselves down by 15 points to start the fourth quarter. Just so many distractions and preparations and trying to get tickets and family and friends in and out of town and where you're going to party after the game. When you win it all, you lose track that you got to go out there and focus and play a game and with a defensive effort. And the Trailblazers jumped on us. Now, the Nuggets have been so good, especially on the road, holding the Heat to under 45% from the field. In fact, once under 40% in those 2 games that they had down there in Miami. If they lock in defensively, there is no way the Heat are going to steal this game in the Mile High City. They have just been too good, and they're doing it while shooting close to 50% from the field themselves. A 49% game 4. They shot 14 to 28 from behind the 3-point line. So, a fair number of 3-point shots, but they're making a high percentage of them. They got a great contribution on the road off their bench in both of those games. Both Brown and Braun played extremely well in games 3 and 4, respectively. And you just got to think that Jimmy Butler just can't do it by himself. He goes to 25 points. But it was the most uninspired-looking 25 points that we've seen out of Jimmy all of the playoffs. It seems like the Nuggets have snatched the lifeblood out of Butler. And when he's down, the rest of the team's down. All the starters minus in the plus-minus category and double digits.
Scott, you watched the Joker play, and you looked at him here, 27 points or the 23 points, but the only 4 assists. But I think the one thing is how he incorporates everybody into the game early on, how he got Gordon involved early on. Porter, who's been struggling, how he got him involved. A couple of nice little short passes for some easy shots, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think that's pointed out enough how ingrained, how much he gets everybody involved throughout the entire game, especially those that are struggling, to give them some confidence in that offense.
Yeah, Aaron Gordon, who knew, right? 27 and 5, Jokic addition to him. The high hand off at the rim for those high percentage. He shoots a high percentage from the field. Michael Porter Jr., who has been struggling from behind the arc, he goes inside, gets a couple buckets. He's in double figures with 11 points. We mentioned Brown off that bench with the 20, but they keyed in, right? The guys go for two 30-point triple doubles on Jokic and Murray, and they slow them down, right? They hold them to a combined 38 points. But it's the other guys that they're able to get involved. You mentioned Jokic, which 14 assists, 4 assists, and then Murray comes back with 12 assists. So it's like, where do you want to try to attack these guys? If you let Jokic score, then he's just too good, right? He'll go for 40 on a high percentage. And if you try to make him a passer, well, okay, he passes the ball off and gets other guys involved, and he and Murray, he'll get Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon going. So it's just too much going. It's too much defense. I don't see the way that he can go on the road and get this victory. It seems like all those undrafted guys that played so well for 3 playoff series now, the Nuggets have figured out how to slow them down, and they're not being an impact in the outcome of these basketball games.
All right, Scott, help me out here now on this. Tyler Hero has been upgraded to questionable. He says he's going to suit up. He's going to try to play with that broken hand. He broke it in the first game in the playoffs against the Milwaukee Bucks. In your time in the league, how difficult is it for a player to be out with an injury, sit out as long as he has, and then try to come back and help his team?
Who? We're not talking about an all NBA here coming back in a closeout game to try to save their team. I mean, Tyler Herro's a great shooter from the outside, but I just think the Nuggets got too many answers for him, especially with the rust factor. There's not going to be a rest involved with this. Sure, he may go for double digits in scoring, but when they're failing to score 100 points every time they step on the floor, I just don't think that's going to be enough. The Nuggets are going to be in that 106 to 114 range. Mm-hmm. And I just don't think that he can match that even with Hero coming back to try to help them.
All right, fair enough. And let me follow up then with my other question, and it is on Jamal Murray. And that is, in your estimation, did you see, I know he was out last year with the knee injury, but did you see this guy coming at the level that he is playing at now? Maybe last year before he was hurt?
I did not. No, and I'll be honest. Who was really paying much attention to the Denver Nuggets, even when Jokic was winning those MVP awards, the back-to-back MVP awards, which probably should have got it again this year, right? Let's be honest. But we know how the voters never like to give it to one player 3 times in a row because that's rare territory. But they were kind of the San Antonio Spurs, right? They won basketball games, but they weren't fun to really watch. I really enjoyed this run this year, and a big reason is because Murray does so much on the floor, right? He gets in the lane, he knocks him down the outside shots, he gets out in transition. He's just a fun player to watch. But I know I can't sit up here and lie to you and tell you, oh, yeah, everybody knew that Murray was going to have a great big playoff run, and he'd be one of the reasons why the Denver Nuggets were going to win the NBA.
2 minutes.
Here they are sitting on this Monday afternoon with a chance to wrap it up and give the Nuggets their first NBA championship crown.
Scott, a lot of rumors about CP3, Deandre Ayton. Either of those two, will they be in Suns uniforms this coming year, in your opinion? This coming season?
Well, yeah, everyone's been kind of talking about the way that they've been rebuilding that staff, the coaching staff. Tisdale's a great hire, retaining Young. Obviously, Frank Vogel coming here being the lead guy, the defense that he brings to the table. I love CP3, right? I'm a big fan of pass first point guard, getting everybody involved. I know he's got a big number attached to his salary. There's a lot of ways that maybe they can reconstruct that deal, try to keep him in the Valley. It might be tough because his family's out in Los Angeles, and he might want to be a little closer to them if he's going to have to take a hit to his contract. But he's a great point guard.
1 minute, 1 minute.
Right. Well, will he be healthy in late April, May, and June when you're trying to make that playoff push? And unfortunately, the injuries have just caught up with him time and time again. DeAndre Ayton, I listened to Frank Vogel's press conference, and he said he's the guy that can get the number 1 draft pick to be more consistent on the floor, and the guy knows more about basketball than I ever will. So I'm going to leave my faith in him that maybe just a new voice in the locker room can get DA motivated to go out there and try to play.
Scott,
on a consistent basis.
Scott, good stuff as always, man. Have a great week. Thanks for the time today. That's a great Scott
Put some more
Williams.
distance.
Scott Williams joining us, and again, he's got this great book out. You got to check it out, called "Through the Fire: A Memoir of Trauma and Loss, Basketball and Triumph."